also just being honest about what you guys have left to implement, because there's a lot of pieces and parts to a lot of these systems we've been talking about. So I wanted to just go over the first session, which seems like 3,000 years ago. But when we first met, we talked about our database, right? And we were talking about the difference between a CRM, which is a customer relationship database or customer relationship system, versus a database. And I challenge you guys to have a goal of 250 contacts. So there's accountability here. I'm going to ask you a question. No judgment. I wanted to know from each of you where you're at with that goal. The reason why I ask that is you always got to know where the gap is, right? So if you set a goal, regardless of if it's production or anything like that, we want to know where we're at, what our goal is, and what the difference of the two is. So if anybody is able to log into their database, or if you know the answer, I would like for you just to shout it out. I know Zoom, we talk over each other a little bit, but what is our numbers revealing to us as far as our efforts to get that initial CRM to 250? And I am writing these down.
I'm at 262. This is Jen.
Yay. Can you share with us, how did you get there? What was your method to your madness? Like, what did you start with? What some maybe tips or tricks?
I kind of had already started pretty high anyways. When I first started working there, I was challenged by another coworker to put together a sphere, and he said he wanted at least 200 on there. And so I came back to him with about 220. So I was able to continue to add like past clients, stuff like that to that. I'm not completely done getting through the past clients, but from where I'm at right now, it's 262.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Love it. What about Abigail? Where are you at? I know you're starting from scratch, right? You were kind
of. It's not good. It's only about 60.
Okay, so let's help you real quick.
Yeah, I just don't know how to get them.
Right. So the first thing is that how did you get the 60 you have now?
So people that I already know and past clients. I mean, it turns out I really don't know a whole lot of people.
Okay.
I mean, well, I know people, but I don't know them as well enough to have their phone number and their email. If I have them on Facebook, that's fine. But this is like friends and close family, and then the past clients that I've had.
And how long have you always lived in Richmond, or are you fairly new?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
I've always lived here. Yeah.
So, but how many Facebook friends do you have?
300 some.
All right. So I would challenge you, like, how do we at least get to 100? So how do we add 40 more in the next 2 weeks? Remember, we were talking also about vendors, trying to find some quality vendors to add to your database. Do you know how many of those 60 are vendors? Did you tag none? Probably none. Okay.
I know a couple, but not a whole lot, but I can go back in and add what I know.
So add what you know. And the next thing is that vendors love us as realtors because we give them business. So it's actually coming from contribution on your end, right? So we call it the Yellow Pages script. And literally it's you texting or calling vendors. How comfortable are you calling a vendor that you don't know on the phone?
I mean, I guess that'd be fine. They want to know me because they want my business. So
okay, good. So what would be some of the first vendors you can identify in your head at 8:30 in the morning? I get it. That you think you could identify, because we're going to add 40. And if we could kick some of that out with some vendors, what do you think some vendors be a natural?
Like contractors?
Could be contractors. I call them lifestyle vendors. So it could be where you get your hair cut. It could be where you buy where you bought a new bike, where you go to the gym, where right. So if I like say I'm going to the gym and I go there every day, I spend money at the gym. Either you call them on the phone and say, hey, this is Drew. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But hey, this is a business call. I'm a real estate agent. You probably know that, but I wanted to see if I could get some of your contact information, because time to time I like to send real estate information by email. And I also have client events, kind of parties that we plan throughout the year. Would you be comfortable giving me your email address and your phone number, and I can just keep up with you just in case you ever need real estate?
Okay.
How do you feel about that kind of conversation?
I mean, I can do that. I mean, I'm not afraid to do that. So I can find some and,
Anybody
not
else
actually-
want to
Go ahead.
help? I was gonna say, anybody else want to give her some advice? I'd want to stretch it to, how do we get to 40 more? I want to set a goal with you, not for you, with you for 100. Who else do you think could help? Abigail, how do we get her an extra 40 people in her CRM?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of maybe some people in college or high school, obviously, that you know, but not super tight with. But I'm sure you already thought of that.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of people left from high school that talk to me. I can figure it out.
Well, so let's talk about like friends that you used to be friends with 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So this is called an apology script. And says, hey, this is Drew. I'm sorry I haven't talked to you in a long time. I've been super busy building my real estate business, kind of getting settled with some personal stuff, but I wanted to reconnect and see how things are going, and then chat with them for a few minutes. And then at the end of the conversation, you say, hey, before we hang up, I do want to grab your contact information because I'd like to be better at communicating with you. I'd like to be better at doing that. Are you laughing at me?
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Drew.
Oh, no,
No,
you're
and
good.
I
I've been laughed at
I really
before.
wanted
It's
to
fine.
drop an F-bomb with these crazy parent drivers here. I'm sorry.
You can do that. It's
Let
all
me
good.
mute myself. I'm sorry
Good.
about that.
You're good. So the apology script is a really good, simple one where you just start off with the elephant in the room. Like, I haven't talked to you in forever. I'm super sorry. Remember the scripting about real estate. I've been super busy with building my real estate business and, doing some personal things. But I want to commit and actually reconnect with you and stay in touch with you over the next years, because I've enjoyed talking to you over the last few years. You'd be surprised that they almost feel more guilty that they didn't reach out as well. They're like, no, I know, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, we can try that.
all right. So I always believe in like step goals. So 250 is such a far reach right now, which you'll get there. You think if I see you in 2 weeks and you're not at 100, how will you feel about that?
I guess pretty shitty.
Okay. Is so do you feel like that's an unrealistic goal? Do you feel like we haven't given you strategies that can actually get you to obtain that? Or do you feel like
No,
you're
I think I
actually
can get there.
powered to do
I
it?
think I can do 100.
All right. So I'm not to call you out, but in 2 weeks, when I see you in the room, we're gonna check your CRM for 100, right? We're good
Yeah,
with
we can
that?
do that.
And
Yeah.
you can text me, call me in between this time frame if you get stuck, because I want to help you hit your goal. I don't want us to get to the finish line. You're at 92 or 93.
Yeah.
100 is the goal, not 96, 98, 99. 100 is the goal, right? Okay, sweet.
Cool.
Kia, how are we doing with you? I know you're starting as well. Kind of building your CRM. How many do you have? Kia.
Yes, I'm driving. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute and drive at the same
Oh
time.
no, well, you're fine. You're good.
So I have a lot of contacts. I'd say I have like real people that I could connect with. Maybe 200, because I have more than that, but not everybody, like Abigail said, I don't have everybody's like email but I have a lot of people's phone numbers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the thing is, I haven't put them in yet because I don't know how to separate. I guess I'll talk to Janet about that today. Just like from my leads and all that. I have to figure out with Sierra or whatever. I mean, did everybody else get follow-up, boss, or like what's happening with that?
Yeah, that's the second conversation is we have to choose a CRM, right? And like Kia, you bring up a good point. Remember, we talk about database, are those cold leads, those, the stuff that comes through on the internet versus the CRM is people that you actually like, know, trust, that are going to give you referrals. So I would say that when you're saying separate, are you saying that you have them on a spreadsheet? Where are they all at?
Yes. Yes, and I know that's a way that I could easily upload them, like a CSV or something like that.
Correct. Yeah, so
Right.
I would say the conversation I want to make sure I give clarity is I want you just to have 250 people in one spot. So if it starts with your spot is that CSV Excel spreadsheet, do you have that spreadsheet? Are those 200 contacts, do you have them in that spreadsheet? Because that's the biggest pain in the ass, just to be honest. That's the hardest part, is to get them in that spreadsheet. Is that where they're at? Are they still on your phone and everywhere else?
I have a few in a spreadsheet, but I can update that quickly. But a lot of it is in my phone.
Okay. And so I don't know what type of phone you have, iPhone or Android, but there's a way to export your contacts out. On iPhones, it's like an iTunes. You can,
Okay.
it looks a little bit crazy when you export it out into Excel, but it'll have their first name, their cell phone number, whatever info you have in your phone.
Mhm.
I literally would recommend just Googling it, because everybody has different, models of cell phones depending on Android but I want you to get it out of your phone into some type of spreadsheet.
Okay, that sounds easy enough.
So can we work on that one task for 2 weeks? Because that's a big chunk of energy to do that. But I think, again, if I walk in 2 weeks, do you think you could show me that spreadsheet? You feel comfortable, like, hey, I can commit to that?
Yes, I will have that for you, Drew. I can commit to that, seriously.
Okay, good. All right, cool. I'm writing all this down.
Uh-oh, you're gonna hold me to it.
Yeah. All right. And then Jason, where are you at with your CRM?
I'm at 152. If I'm being
Come
honest,
on, man, what happened? I feel like,
yeah, I just need to jump on mine. Mine actually went the opposite direction. I haven't been in it in so long that when I went in it, I realized there was a bunch of people that need to come out. So whatever my number was subtracted, and I do feel confident I can get 40 in by next week, though. I've got some past clients I need to add in there, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get 40 people in there from past clients.
how long have you been in business, Jason?
I'm going on, I think January is 5 years.
Okay. And Abigail, how long have you been in the business? What is it? I'm sorry, Abigail, unmute yourself.
Sorry, about a year.
So Abigail's goal is 40 because she's 1 year in, and your 40 is it because you're 5 years in? Does that line up okay?
I think so. You're saying Abigail's better than me. I got it. Okay, sir.
I didn't say that. I'm just getting clarification. You came up with a goal of 40, and I think it's because maybe Abigail has a goal of 40, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to stay with my buddy Abigail, so that
Yeah,
way
we're very
I'm trying-
close. So
Yeah,
Well,
I thought
I
I'd help
love
her.
that. And what I would just say is we all do still have to run our own race. And I would hope at 5 years in, we can squeeze a little bit more juice into your CRM. Abigail will build it over time, just like you've built your business over time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be a good coach if I didn't at least bring attention to a goal that maybe could be enhanced a little bit.
What are you thinking? 45?
Maybe. What are you thinking?
I don't want to. I do get a little nervous. I do think you made a valid point at the beginning of this thing when you do come up with a large number. I think that's one of the toughest things with coaching is once I get in with it, it's like, okay, y'all need 250. I'm like, man, there's no way to get 250. Now, if you tell me I need to get 50, all of a sudden you get 50. And, it's kind of like saving money. That first 10,000 is the toughest. And then, it gets easy after that. So, I mean, I do love going in the increments like that.
Well, one thing I also say is that what you focus on expands. So if you know whatever the goal number is, and you wake up every day and you see that, and you see that, and you just keep chunking away at it, like biting it like an elephant, right? How do you eat that elephant? One bite at a time. So I'm good with whatever goal that you want to commit to. So 40 is your number. I'm okay with that.
50. I'll do 50. I'll do 10 better than Abigail, and we won't say how many years I've been in the business or anything.
Okay, I like it. 50. All right. So we're gonna add. So you're at 152. So math roughly at 8:30 in the morning. It's 2:02, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Jennifer, I know you're in, and Pat, you're both in carpool lanes. where are you guys at with your CRMs? Who wants to go first? Jennifer, Pat?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. My CRM needs work. That's what I'm gonna say. It is not great. Like the people are in there, but they're not sorted the way they need to be sorted.
The sorting meaning like adding tags, like grouping them by
Correct.
like vendors, past clients, things like that.
Correct. Yeah.
So what do you think would be the two largest groups in the 262? Do you think it'd be like 65 vendors or 25 past clients? What do you think is the largest chunk of those people in there?
Well, I think the largest chunk is just family and friends.
So do you think in 2 weeks you could focus on that one group and we could actually see family, friends, 65, 70, like whatever that number is? You think if you focused on that and actually built some quality tags on those, that would be?
Yeah, that would definitely help. You know, and I wanted to ask you because there were some people in there that, you know, I was friends with 100 years ago, but haven't talked to in 75, you know, so it's like,
Yeah.
how do I handle that? Because some of those people I'm still counting in the 262. Like, do I reach out or is this kind of a lost cause? I don't really know what to do with those folks.
Well, I think you have to do a gut check, but like what I was discussing with Abigail through like that apology script, if you're comfortable calling them or texting them and saying, hey, I apologize. I've literally known you for 15 years and life has gotten busy because I'm building my real estate business. I got a lot of personal stuff that I'm kind of working on. And yet I wanted to commit in 2022 to reconnecting with people that I really value and trust and want to have friendship with. So I'm sorry it's taken me so long to reach out, but I do want to see how you're doing.
Okay.
If you're not comfortable saying that, then they just need to be on, they need to be in your database because they're not warm enough anymore. They've just gone too cold, right?
Yeah. Okay, got it.
So can I put a goal for you that you're gonna tag all of your friends and family and you and I are gonna be able to see that together in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Perfect. Then Pat, how you doing? How's your morning going?
Well, morning's going good.
Good, good.
Going good. So, boy, that light's kind of harsh there.
Oh, it's okay. I'm over here.
So working on the database has a lot more to go.
So you've kind of got the opposite. You've got like so many people, right?
Well, I don't know about so many. I mean, a couple hundred or more.
Okay.
So
How do we slow it down? How do we get to a point where you feel like, yes, I'm kind of getting better with my CRM? Like what do you think you need to kind of pinpoint for that?
I think I need to get them into a database. Right now they're on a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Trying to figure out which database I want to use for a CRM. So I think once I get those in there and then I kind of look at these people, I want to connect with all of my past clients.
So what's holding you back from choosing a CRM at this point? Is it just choice paralysis on which one? I
just don't know which one's going to do everything that I want it to do. And I just need to make a decision and go with it. If I don't like it, I can change, right?
Yeah, and the secret is they all do the same damn thing. They'll tell you they do different stuff, but they do the same thing. They all tag in group, they send drip campaigns, they all do the same. It's so I would just make sure it's progress over perfection. Progress over perfection, right? So if you had to choose a CRM today, which one would it be?
Probably Follow Up Boss.
Okay. So there is that is a very good one. I personally use that one, and I also have a lot of clients use that one. So would you be willing to commit to taking that spreadsheet and get in there and I think there's a trial for Follow Up Boss, so you don't even think you have to pay for it.
There is, and I signed up for it. I think it's expired, so I haven't used it that much. So I just need to buy into it, and then there's no really long-term commitment. So I just need to sign up for it and just do it.
All right, so in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna log into Follow Up Boss, and I'm gonna see your contacts in there. It won't be perfect. It won't be perfect, right? That's okay, but you stepped into
in there.
least you're in there. All right, so, all right, cool. I'm excited about that. Are you happy with that goal?
I am. So we're gonna get it done. I gotta keep moving forward and life just gets in the way with everything. It's like you plan on these things, these great things happening, and then crap happens.
Amen to that. But you
Yeah,
know what? You just wake up and it's every day is a new day until it's not,
absolutely.
unfortunately. So, all right, so you're gonna, your goal is to get follow-up off set up, and we're gonna log in together when I see you in person. Good stuff. Awesome. And then I know Pam said she's actually at a appraisal right now, but I told her I am recording this. So the second thing we're kind of talking about was our pipelines. Do you guys remember that? This is a lot for 8:30 in the morning. It's almost 9 though. How we doing with our pipelines? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you not use it at all? Like what's, and I know the answer because I can see all of them, by the way. So
And I'm happy with mine. I am about a week past from updating that thing, but
okay.
but that was one of the things out of everything you've given us. That was the one thing that I really focused on and was extremely happy with it. And it does
What do you
help.
think it's showing you in your business? What do you think that's allowing you to see differently now?
Well, God knows, it's hard to keep, all of us, get down in this business. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, I don't have to tell anybody on this call here. So, sometimes it's nice just to look at that thing and say, hey, with these possible buyers coming up, I'm going to have that amount of money. With these sellers I got coming up, I'm going to have this amount of money. Now, right now, you might not have something today or tomorrow. And I would tell myself who got in the business that first year I got in the business, I would tell myself to go enjoy life some, go do some work and reach out to some people and then go jump on a bike or go visit a friend or go find a river or guitar or something. So, you get down when you don't have business right now, but then you get so busy you can't enjoy life. So what I need to be doing today is enjoying life somewhere.
Well, one of the things I heard you say though is the money is attached to this. So sometimes many of us, it's not about the money, right? We're helping our clients. We love real estate. We love houses. We love negotiation. There's so many facets about real estate, but money does buy some sense of security, freedom.
Yeah, I got to pay my rent,
Yeah. You don't want to be. So I think one of the things, the reason why I'm excited that you said that is that you can see the future. You're building like this runway of future business. One of the things I want to make sure is that there's a column on there that talks about expected under contract date or expected list date. It's a column on your pipeline, and it drops down just a month. It says January, February, March. I would challenge all of you guys in your pipelines to reinvestigate that. If it says September of this year, guess what? It's October 5th. So that is no longer a thing. And you can't always predict it because the pipeline is a long-term forecast. It's a forecasting tool that any business wants to do for revenue. So make sure number one is I want you to have everybody you can possibly think of that might raise their hand that wants to buy or sell real estate. But that expected does everybody know what column I'm talking about? I'm happy to share screen to show what you guys are, what I mean by that. But that is the one that I want to see those filled out. If it's blank, guess, like give the best gut instinct for yourself. And then if that month passes, if you said May and it rolls into June, you're like, obviously they didn't buy in May, so you need to roll them forward, right? Inventory is a challenge. People aren't always honest with their credit scores and all the things that they do to kind of work through that process. So it's not a perfect crystal ball to your money, but it gets better the more and more and more you do it. Also would challenge you to have that scripted conversation with or dialogue conversation with your buyers and sellers. Hey, if we found the perfect house and today, and we could write an offer, gets accepted, what is the day what's the month or the date that you think you want to move into that house? And have that conversation with every seller, every buyer. Hey, if we could list your house today and all the things we talked about are fixed and all negotiations wrapped up and we close on this X date, what month do you think or would you predict that to be? They have a good instinct of what they need. Sellers know they need to move by October to move into a new place by November. Buyers know my lease is done in July. I need to be in a house by August, right? So make sure you're having, if you don't know what the answer is and you're not comfortable guessing in your pipeline, you can legit ask. And that helps them also chronologically work their way through, okay? So who do you think is nailing their pipeline? You're like, hey, I love this thing. I'm really using it well. And Jason's working on his, so I appreciate that. Nobody?
I used to use mine. I really liked it when I did.
Okay, well, it's not been that long since we gave it to you, so you could recommit to that as well. What
Yeah,
what did you like about it when you first saw it?
Well, I felt like I didn't really have clients, and I felt, because a lot of times you forget about them when
Yeah.
they're on the search, and then so I think when we first had this meeting, I went and I did the whole pipeline and I added to it for the next couple weeks, and I go back in and I would be like, oh yeah, I need to call them, and I mean, and I could see with the amount of money that I could make if I just kept up with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I stopped, to be honest, because it was working. Like, it was a great tool.
Well, a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. So I don't know if you can bookmark it or create a shortcut on your desktop, but you need to see it just like you see yourself in the mirror every day. So
Yeah, kind of
if it's
whiteboard.
hiding in your Google Drive or it's not physically there, I will tell you, I even believe that you should print it on, like, put it on the wall. Maybe it's your spreadsheet, but you can update it and then print off a new one, right? It can be in black and white to save money or ink. But I think committing to having it somewhere visually where you can see it, whether it's on your desktop, you see a little icon that says pipeline or something like that. Where do you think it would be easiest for you to just kind of trigger your mindset that, hey, oh crap, I forgot about this pipeline. I need to look at that. I need to add, I need to modify. Where do you think it'd be the easiest spot for you to kind of bring it
Yeah,
back to
probably
life?
printing it out and putting it somewhere in my home would probably be the best idea.
All right.
Not on
So
my computer.
are you good with to do that?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll just go update it and print it out and put it a couple places, I guess.
Awesome. And can you text us a picture of it in the group so we have peer
Yeah, so
accountability that you do it?
yeah, yeah, I can.
All right. I love it. Abigail, you're a trooper. You're doing great. That's awesome. All right. Visual pipeline. What about everybody else? This feels a little different than before, right? Do you feel that this session is a little less training, more coaching? Do you see the difference between the two? Does it make you uncomfortable? Does it make you excited? What is it? This conversation has mixed emotions from many people. And I'm okay with any of the above, but do you guys feel the difference between the training sessions we've kind of had the last 4 sessions and this one's a little different?
Yeah, it makes me realize that these things, I need to be focusing on them daily. I think sometimes my daily focus gets a little blurred. And I'm
Is there a
Is there-
tool we gave you that could get you focused on some of these things? Do you remember a tool? It's got like 3 letters in it.
Oh, I have that in my notes and I don't have my notes in front of me right now. I know what you're talking about though.
Called a GPS. Remember the 12-week, the planning tool called a GPS? That might be a good thing if it keeps falling out of, there's, like Pat said, like, life is crazy. So if there's a way that you could have it in a written, like, to-do list or success list is what I like to call it, I would say go back to that GPS. And maybe it's as simple as, all right, now my goal is to tag these friends and families in the next 2 weeks. That's maybe one of your 12-week goals. Change it, modify it. Things like that. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. It's just unfortunate. Like, my brain is on overload, but everybody's brain is on overload. We are stimulated and we have so many other responsibilities on our plates that I would challenge you to write that down. So,
Yeah, it's almost like when you get a little bit behind, you get so overwhelmed that you're like scared to attack it again. I don't know if
yep,
that's.
I call it the snowball effect. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Actually, my notorious thing is I'm going to start that on Monday. And regardless of what day I screwed up, I give myself a whole 4 days to like reset myself. I don't know, 5 days. So if I'm on a diet and I screw up on Tuesday, I'm like, well, I'll reset on Monday. Well, what the hell is the rest of the week? I'm just snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. So I would just challenge you to go commit back to these last couple tools. The GPS, the pipeline, and we talked about the CRM. All right, let's talk about some fun stuff before we it's 9 o'clock, but we talked about also in a couple sessions, our seller systems, which I'm sure you guys have really implemented a lot of great things in there. We talked about farming, right? We talked about finding that farm, figuring out the turn rate. I know, Abigail, I know you figured out what you wanted to do there. We also talked about like Google Forms and kind of getting that questionnaire to them early. So when you go on those listing appointments, you can be a little bit more prepared. You can be more of a consultant. So just talk to me about your wins. Talk to me about the good stuff in your seller systems. Anything you've implemented into your business to tighten up any seller systems. I'd love to hear that. I'm not gonna beat you up on this one. I want to hear the good stuff. What you got going on in your sellers? Has anybody touched their listing presentation? Has anybody grabbed the seller questionnaire and put it in an email template in Google, Gmail? Has anybody set up a farm? Has anybody mailed a postcard out to their farm for the first month? Has anybody used Mojo?
I'm not
So,
sure that, hey, Drew, this is the one that I missed. And
Okay.
so I don't know if you sent those materials out, but I don't recall having them. I did do a lot with the buyer packet.
Oh, good,
I
good.
made
'Cause we're gonna
changes
talk
to
about
all
that.
that and yeah, but I just wanted to let you know, I don't really have comments because I'm not sure that I've seen this.
So so what we need to send you, I sent an email with the seller and the buyer questionnaire in the same email. Did you not
Okay,
get
so
that one?
okay, so then I must have it. I'll check because I did get the buyer stuff.
Okay, because it was all in the same email to kind of keep everything cleared up.
Okay.
Can anybody
Okay.
else, if anybody else got it, did you guys get it as well? Could you forward it to our group mate here? Just to make sure she has what she needs. I'm happy to resend it too. It's just I want to make sure at least she got that. So did anybody pick a farm at all?
I've at least picked a neighborhood. That's
Awesome.
that's,
What did
the
you
least
choose and
amount.
why?
It's this neighborhood that I sold 3 houses in Colonial Heights, and it's got about the right size, and the price point's a little lower than I prefer, but it's a neighborhood I know very well, and lived down there for a bunch of years. Got a couple friends down there, so.
So what's the
figured
size of it?
It is. I want to say I don't have it sitting in front of me, but it was between 125 and 150.
Okay.
And the price points are anywhere from 200 to 310, something like that. So, not crazy expensive, but I got the comps in my head like the back of my hand. So,
And how many houses sold in the last 12 months?
That's a good question. I need to find that out.
And remember, and Kiev, this is just to kind of educate you as we go. With a farm, it's called a turn rate. So you're going to take the number of houses in that neighborhood, and you're going to divide that out by the number of houses that have sold in that neighborhood in the last 12 months. So in this example, if you have 150 doors, is what I always say, 150 houses in this neighborhood in Colonial Heights, I'm going to go back into MLS. I'm going to plug that MLS subdivision name in there. And let's say it was 12 houses maybe sold. So I'm going to take the 12 and I'm going to divide that out. 12 divided by 150. And that's right at an 8% turn rate. And we want a turn rate of at least 7%. So 2 things I would say with that. Number 1, awesome that you chose, you're planting a flag somewhere, which is good.
Yeah.
First step is getting to the moon, and the second is planting the flag there, right? So I'm happy that you chose that. the key number is that turn rate. So if you're at 150 doors and only 4 houses have sold, 3 of which you're the one that sold them, is that enough to sustain you financially? So, so I would just
One of
say
the other
revisit
things,
that.
yeah, one of the other things I'll say is I think it's important to make sure there's not another realtor in there that just crushes that neighborhood. I mean, there's been, I live in Churchill, so
Yep.
there's a couple big players in Churchill, and man, I've tried Churchill when I first started in this business, but got 0 out of it.
And how we call those gorillas if there's more than 20% in a geographic area with that. So when you literally have the neighborhood up of all those solds, make sure you add that column that says listing agent, right? That you can add a column in MLS, you just literally add that column. And then when you resort it, if you see 20 people of Heather Valentine's, I'm West End John Daler, right? Whatever it is, that might not be your best approach unless you want to throw money at it and you blow out that gorilla. But most likely there's plenty of fish in the sea. You can find another neighborhood without a gorilla. So, okay. Awesome. So let's talk about our buyer systems then. So maybe that's more of our focus. Can you tell me a win for Key? You said you really implemented that. Can you share how are you doing with your buyer systems? Anybody else?
Sorry, I keep going from mute to unmute because I don't want to be disruptive in the background.
Oh, you're great.
Well, I just came up with my buyer packet.
Awesome. And so what is the buyer packet? Is that going to be the one you give, like you're going over with them, or you're going to hand it out, have them print it out and give to them while you're doing, what's the packet look like?
What I have right now is just more informational for them.
Okay.
I have gone over it with someone, but there is also that like PowerPoint slide, the thing that you sent, where you're explaining a whole lot more. So I guess I need to come up with something like that as well. But would you recommend that?
Well, if you remember how I kind of coach you through it, is one is a little bit more like that driving, car manual, right? The pretty one that is printed spiral bound is, hey, if you have a question at 2 o'clock in the morning, this packet's got a lot of great information. It's got definitions, it's got processes, it's got, checklists in here. So I'm going to give this, quote, attractive one to them for later use. I think there needs to be one a little bit more tactical, a little bit more boots on the ground, a little bit more like this is our legit what we're doing. We want to look professional and show them pretty stuff as far as our marketing materials, but you want to get in there and really get into the weeds as far as this is how much money it's going to cost. This is, how the home inspection process is going to go. So I would say maybe pull up that Google presentation that we shared with you and see if you like it. And if there's some sections you don't like, take it out. But I love that you took a stab at it. At least you have something, which is good. Because I'll tell you, a lot of agents show up with nothing. They show up maybe with MLS listings because they're about to show them 3 houses, but they don't actually have some type of formal or some type of professional presentation. So you're heading in the right direction. What would you say that to kind of tighten that buyer system up? What's one thing that you think you could focus on in the next 2 weeks with that?
Well, I need to get that other piece.
Okay.
The
Do I need to resend that
what you were? I'm
to
sorry.
you? Do I need to resend that to you as well? Do you want us to?
No.
Okay.
No, I need to do it.
Just refresh it.
I think the buyer packet looks good. And like Jason was saying to me a few weeks ago, like you said, a lot of agents show up with just MLS. It just looks so much more professional when you come in with that, when you have your folder and your cards and all that.
Yeah.
So that part is good.
It makes you stand out, and especially in a world right now where I hear a lot of buyers or buyer agents say, they bought with somebody else, or the buyer ghosted me and then they end up buying a house, 2 weeks later. Our challenge with being a buyer's agent is we got to keep showing value to them. And unfortunately, the way that our industry is the houses we show them is the value, but there's way more beyond just opening a door, right? You know that. So we've got to show that value. And that buyer consultation, when you're in the nitty gritty with them and you're showing them like, this is how much money you need, this is how this process works. That's where they're like, wow, I had no idea. They literally say that out loud, right? So you're worth every penny because you provide an insane amount of value to your buyers. So I would just say, I would love to kind of see how that unfolds for you as far as implementing that. Okay. So let's put that as a goal.
Okay, I will.
I like that.
So I have 2 homework assignments.
Yes, you do.
I think.
You do.
Okay.
Do we think or we know? We think we know. We know, right? We know that these
We
are
know.
the 2 goals.
I only said it that way because usually I'm taking notes, but I'm not in a position to right now. So I'm trying to remember. I got 2.
Oh, we have a group text, so maybe what I'll do is I will group text us what our goals are, so none of us forget, because I know we're all carpool lanes and it's also early and all that good stuff. So I'll be the scribe and I will text you guys your commitments in the group, okay?
Thank you.
And if I miss something, because we're all of integrity, you'll add to the list for me. That'll be great.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I'll only add to Jason's list to make it really long.
Yes. I like
Just
that.
messing with you, Jason.
I appreciate that. That's good. All right. So the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about is social media.
All right.
It's this big elephant in the room. We all know we have to do it. Some of us love it. Some of us hate it. We talked about that, right? We talked about that. We reviewed kind of some options out there. How do you guys feel your social media is going since that conversation we had, which has only been a couple of weeks? Do you think it's gotten better? It stayed the same? It's gotten worse? You're just like,
I've
to hell
been
with it all.
trying.
I see you. I literally said, I see you.
I know, I
Right.
loved it.
Yeah.
I actually, the other day though, I had I don't know what I was doing. Like I tried to schedule, like you said, this was a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
but I got it wrong. I was trying to schedule this post. It was cute, something about real estate and coffee for National Coffee Day.
Okay.
And then I was looking online the other day. I was like, Friday was freaking National Coffee Day. Somehow I had the dates wrong.
Oh, so
I'm
it
glad
posted?
didn't post, like I canceled it.
Oh,
What's that?
gotcha. So you chose a different day by accident, like when you're doing your scheduler?
Yeah, but I didn't post it. Like I was able to cancel it. I realized it ahead of time, but I was just like, because I think I had it for October 8th, but it was October 1st.
Well, I will tell you,
So-
I was doing scheduling for this past month, and the scheduler, like when you picked like this, October 5th today, it would reset back to the day I was actually physically doing the posts, like scheduling. It was like, so just double check when you have it kind of the way you want it. When you go to hit save or schedule post, make sure that date is, I think that was a Facebook, maybe that's why that Facebook was out for 6 hours yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but that is not the first time that's happened to me as well. The other thing is that when you have them in a list, you see all the scheduled posts, go back through them and see the dates, because there's a date on there. Like it's more in an Excel spreadsheet kind of looking thing. When you're in the schedule, it'll say March 25th, April 10th, April 6th. Just kind of scan that visually with your eyes to make sure, because some of that is just technology error and has nothing to do with you. It's just how Facebook's being weird. So has anybody done a live video?
Not yet.
What's going on in the next week or so that you think you can do a live video? Anything fun? You got a new listing? You got a buyer closing? You've got a home inspection you're going to go to? You're going to a really cool restaurant, right? We talked about doing a live video. And this is where the Zoom's like,
Everybody
hello,
gets quiet.
is there anybody in here? Hello. So this is probably, out of the entire session series, this is the hardest one for most agents. And yet we know we're in the human business. We're not in the housing business. Don't you guys think there's a hashtag that NextHome has, right? So the only way to build connections, increase database, increase branding exposure, right, is that, remember those 3 things, is in order for them, they have to choose you as a realtor, they have to like you, they have to trust you, and they have to remember your real estate. I'll say it one more time. They have to like you, trust you, and remember you're in real estate. And doing all these really great graphics and pulling out coffee days, all those are so amazing. And yet, if the really truth is be told, is the data shows it is that the people, your people that already are friends with you, want to see your face and want to hear your voice and want to get to know what's going on. So the reason why Facebook Live is because it became such a popular thing, and Facebook gets it, is because people watch them. And people connect with people. It's a connection piece. So if we're really putting our talk where our words are with, we're in the human business, not the housing business, I would just challenge you. How are you showing your human side on social media? How are you doing that now? You don't have to answer it out loud right now, but I want you to think, how am I showing up on social media? Am I doing that? And video is a great way. So I would love for you guys to surprise me in the next 2 weeks. Let's just not even set it as a goal. Somebody in this group will do a Facebook Live. I know that you will, because you probably got a new listing. You probably have a closing coming up. You have a home inspection you're going through. You're previewing houses. You're walking a really cool neighborhood that you want to show off some of the amenities. You are, again, eating at a local restaurant, you're at the park, and you wanted to talk about how great it is to live in a community that has such a nice park. You're going to the zoo. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of lifestyle, local expert opportunities to do that. I had one client just yesterday. She Facebook Lived her local yard sale, and it was in Forest Hill, and they had an outdoor yard sale, and she just did Facebook Live, and I think it was actually on Instagram Live that she streamed over, but she was just like, hey, this is the local yard sale. She didn't even put it together. She's just trying to help promote that yard sale for whoever put it together. And she said, hey, if you need this, check this out. They have free clothes. They have, dog toys. She was literally showing all the stuff. She didn't have to do that. She's making $0 off of doing that. It's not. So I would just also challenge you. It doesn't have to be about houses. It could be about something that you love as well. So I'm just going to put a little star here about some Facebook Lives, and I'll see who steps up to the plate in the next 2 weeks to do that. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves on how we can implement that. Okay. So that's pretty much what I had. There's one more final thing, but what else, or do you guys think we have, 10, 12 minutes? Is there another stumbling block or another win that you guys want to talk about with the remaining time that we have? Either a challenge you have or a win. I'm loving good stuff as well that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think you gave us plenty to do. So, God knows, by the time you see us next Tuesday, next 2 weeks, we'll have some wins.
Okay, good. So the next thing I would like to talk about is your time blocking systems, like your calendar itself. So we just talked about some commitments that you just recommitted to, because we actually talked about them 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. So we're recommitting to some of the goals that we've learned through the training process, right? How do we put it into our schedule? Our schedules are already busy. We already have a lot on our plate, both personal and professional. You probably have clients that you're showing houses to, you're negotiating contracts right now. So we just together just committed to a couple more things on your plate. How do you plan on putting that into your schedule? What is your method whenever you get something added to your plate? Anybody want to share their wisdom on how they kind of manage their time?
Yeah, it's been my biggest weakness since I've been in real estate, and to this day, I mean, right now, today, it's still going to give me trouble. I'm just horrible at time management. I just wake up in the morning, I do write a to-do list, and I get that thing done just about every day. But it's a struggle, everybody's pulling you in every direction, and God knows you get to the office and you're doing the, I am knocking out that to-do list, but I think with most of us, the most important thing is getting contacts, doing our calls every day. God knows we've all got so many leads, which is a great thing to have. I just got to get better about making my calls. I need to just get in the habit of every single day for at least 30 minutes going through that database and making calls. And
So
having
do
that
you
as my
do
number
a
one thing.
paper, you say you have a paper to-do list, like you write it on a notebook,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
And then do you have a paper calendar that you keep up with, or do you use your phone, or?
I use my phone. I've got whatever I've got coming up in my life, whatever, appointments that I have in here, closings, whatever meetings we got, whatever, coaching session with you, whatever it is, it's all in my Google Calendar.
Does everybody use Google Calendar? Or does anybody use a paper calendar?
I use a paper calendar all the time. I have a really hard time with electronic calendar.
Okay, I hear that 100%.
I use the
Pat,
paper.
okay. Q, what
I
about you?
just use I don't use Google, but I use my iPhone calendar.
iPhone calendar, okay. And Abigail, you use iPhone or Google?
Paper. I hate the phone.
Paper. So I will tell you, before I got into coaching, I always used a paper calendar with real estate. I use, honestly, it's the one at a glance is the one I see where it's not the stupid squares. The square calendar thing, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like 30 days in little squares. Whoever invented that doesn't have anything to do, because I could never fit all the crap I could do in the one little square, right? So what I always did was at a glance, and it was a weekly calendar. You can get them at Office Max, and they actually had the full, it was Sunday to a month, like the full 7 days when you fold it out. I don't know if I still have one. They used to show it. And I'll tell you, so what I would really say that a lot of people, if you're so busy, that paper calendar, if you held that like it's your Bible, like that's, hey, that may be something to, but what I find is that we don't put everything in it. When you're going to take a 30-minute lunch break, you got to put it in there, because if not, you won't have a 30-minute lunch break. You're going to be running through the drive-through eating crap, right? Or if you know you have to be at the carpool lane at 3 o'clock, put carpool lane in there. So one of the challenges I found is that I didn't put everything in my calendar. The only thing I put in my calendar was appointments. Right. So it was, I have a listing appointment at 2 o'clock. So I will show you my calendar. I have prepare for dinner, take out the trash. I have travel time, the word travel time in between my space. And the thing is that I now have everything. If I need a break, it says the word break. Like I literally do that, and I color code. So I don't know if I've ever shown you my Google Calendar, because I used to do the same thing with my paper calendar. So how I always did it, and how I've coached, and many agents that I coach still use this, is I use a pencil, not a pen, because I hate whiteout and scratching crap off my list. So I would literally take my paper calendar, use a pencil, which seems old school, but it allowed me to erase and then replace. If I said I was going to go to the gym at 2 o'clock today and suddenly I had a listing appointment pop up, I'm going to erase my 2 o'clock gym appointment and I'm going to move it to 4 o'clock. I'm just going to erase it and then move it down, right? If you erase, you must replace. If you say, and the thing is, so then once I did all that, at the end of the week, I would reflect on how I did. And how I would reflect on how I did was I color coded it based on 3 things. It's tasks and training. I highlighted it one color. What did I attend? This is past tense. So I'm not highlighting in the future, I'm highlighting past tense. The second one was personal. And the third thing, what made me money. And when you look at my calendar, the paper calendar from the previous week, I just reflected on it. I saw how much green, which was what I used the highlighter for that, was how much green is how much money making activities did I do, appointments, things like that. How much blue did I have, right? Which is personal time, family time, daddy-daughter night time, lunch, gym time, anything like that. And then if I went to, did any tasks or training, dry cleaning was yellow. Coaching session was yellow, right? I think part of also what we're not taught a lot about with time blocking is you need to reflect backwards. So do you guys look at what you did last week and go, wow, I nailed it. I really did a great job with lead gen this week. Or wow, you know what? I needed to spend time with my family. And there was a lot of, in my case, there's a lot of blue in my calendar. So we call that counterbalance, because you're never going to have, quote, a balanced life. And whoever said that life is balanced doesn't have a life, in my opinion, because there's some days where you need to go to Jamaica for a week, right? That's counterbalance. I wasn't available. That's blue, that's family, and I was okay with it. And now I'm back working and I love what I'm doing. And now I'm working, right? So it's counterbalance. There's not really such thing as a balanced life. And in real estate, it is more true than ever, right? And I think, Jason, you said it earlier, like when you were earlier in your days, you wish you would slow down a little bit. If you were to color code your calendar, you may have had a lot of green and a lot of yellow. Green, money-making activities, yellow, tasks and training, right? But your blue, your personal time went to shit. You didn't actually balance that, counterbalance that. So my one little hack that I would challenge you guys to go into with time blocking is you need to see more of a journal backwards of what you did versus what you didn't. So I'm gonna share my screen just to show you what my calendar looks like. And I'm gonna show you backwards. Can everybody see my screen? Yes, no, yep. Okay, so this is obviously, this is at a week in Google Calendar. But you'll see all of this stuff, right? Get up, get ready, wake up for a productive day. And I'm color coding this stuff. Literally everything. I'm going to show you today. I'm getting ready to do laundry, FYI. About to hang up with you guys and do some laundry, right? But these are things that I think that we don't put in our calendars. And so if I'm looking at my week, reflection back, again, blue is personal, green for me is money making, and training tasks are yellow. I can look real quick and say, how much money making activities did I do? Right, I can go back. This is a decent week, but look, I had all these other personal days. These are my blue days, right, which is fine. The ladies sometimes make it pink, make it purple, whatever your favorite color is, right? So if you're looking back, I can see, all right, here's my personal stuff. Here's my business stuff. This is me traveling, right? We're in the car a lot. Did you really account for that? So I just want you to think about that as you go into these next 2 weeks. What we just committed to, some of the goals, it's not going to be implemented if we just write it on a piece of paper. As much as that's a first step, it's got to make it into your time blocking. It's got to make it into your calendar, right? So I would love for you guys to take the goals that we set today. I would like to get you to add it to your calendar. And I'd also like for commitment and accountability, I want you to screenshot that and text it to the group. So if you use Google Calendar, it says, you know, it'll say, I need to add 50 people to my CRM, right? So Jason, I want to see that, right? Jennifer, I want to see tag family and friends in my CRM. And if you know that's going to take longer than 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe break it apart. Do one on Friday, do a little chunk on Thursday, do another chunk, right? Spread it out. Don't just say, I'm going to spend 3 hours doing something, because we all know, number one, we don't even have the attention span to do anything for 3 hours. I mean, we're at an hour in this session and we're all like ready to go on to the next thing, which is human nature. Okay. All right, so is everybody clear on kind of some of the goals we've set, some accountability behind it, and some action towards getting it in our calendars? How do we feel about that? We energized and excited, or y'all just gonna go back to bed?
Energized, excited,
You're such a
motivated.
liar.
No, I really am. I'm motivated. I'm ready to get on it. I'm ready. It's nice. You got to have some accountability. It's one of the toughest things in this business. So we got each other, so we can all.
You do, and just don't let each other slack a little bit. It's tough love. You don't have to be a jerk about it, but hey, you all committed to some great things and I have them all written down and I know you're going to hit them. But you guys have an insulated support system. I have many groups. I have 3 other groups. You guys are unique because you're in the same brokerage. You guys can really tag team and really have some accountability. Lean into that. If you truly are a brokerage where you help each other, part of helping each other is holding each other accountable. So don't let anybody BS you and give you an excuse and my dog ate my homework. Like, it's okay to be like, I hear your dog ate your homework, but we got to still hit this goal. Okay. Well, I'm excited to see you guys. What's our next session date? So we all have clarity on that. Speaking of calendars, because I'm all over the world, I feel like. I don't know what's happening. I have us on the 21st, which is a Thursday at 11:30 in you guys' training room. Is that what you guys have on your calendars?
That's what I got.
All right, so that's our final session. So we're gonna have a lot to go over from accountability, but we got one more major chunk, which is leverage. We're going to talk about how do we leverage the systems that we're learning? How do we leverage the technology that we're implementing? And how do we leverage people so we can actually have that counterbalance life? So we're going to talk about how we do that, which is AKA how to build a team, how to build organizational chart, how to build a business 3 to 5 years out. So it'll be fun. If you're not at that point, it's still important for you to see the big picture of what this business can turn into in 10 years and 15 years or whatever the sequence that you need. So I'll see you guys on the 21st. Text in the group as we can so we can see some accountability happening, implementation. And I want you guys to have a good rest of your day, okay?
Thank you,
You guys-
Drew.
All right, everybody, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Here,
Drew.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.